In this chapter, we're going to be discussing the pawn structures in the middle game and how they influence the play. In most middle games and end games, even up into the ending, the pawn structure is like the skeleton of the position and sort of defines how the pieces work together and defines the plan of the players. It's based around the pawn structure to a large degree. It's almost like the geography of the chess position. To start off with, we'll see a game which I think is very instructive, where the great player from Estonia, Paul Keres, had the white pieces against a player from Chile named Rodrigo Flores Alvarez. This was from the Buenos Aires Olympiad of 1939. I believe the game was a bit of a mismatch. Keres at the time was one of the best players in the world. His opponent was a lesser master, but we can learn a lot from these type of games. We see clearly things that might demonstrated on the board that might, between Keres and let's say Alekhine, might have been remaining in the background and not shown on the board. Keres began with the move e4. His opponent played the French defense, and Keres chose his customary knight d2. This is a variation which leads to quite safe play for white, but also free piece play in many cases, not allowing the same kind of weaknesses that white structure might get after knight c3, bishop b4, and the win-over variation where it's much sharper. Black played knight f6, attacking on e4, bishop d3. So actually it just transposes. Keres chose this move rather than the immediate e5, and black decided not to use the opportunity to take on d4, but instead just played c5, and after e5, knight f to d7, c3, knight c6, we reach a normal position, and Keres chose the move knight e2. There's also the move knight f3, which is a different opening, different variation, but here the idea is that the knights don't trip over each other. This knight goes to f3 later on, in most cases, freeing the bishop. And this knight from e2 can sometimes go to f4 or sometimes to g3. So it's a very harmonious way of development. This time the theory was relatively new in this variation, and players tended to try to take advantage of white's slight lag and castling with moves like queen to b6, which is what black played. Nowadays, it's more commonly seen that black takes on d4 and then plays f6, and this kind of position is reached, and often the queen goes to c7, fighting for the diagonal b8 to h2, but that's another subject. Black played queen b6, logically attacking the pawn chain on d4.